Hi everyone, I'm Bibi Chia, a dietitian by profession and a food lover by nature. The recipe that I will be demonstrating today is a homemade tempeh. Now, why tempeh? Tempeh is made out of soybeans, which are high in protein and contains a variety of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. The beans are tightly packed in a cake form, which allows it to have a higher protein content than other soy products of the same amount. Now, in a study done, it was found that tempeh has a higher amount of isoflavones, a polyphenol associated with the potential of preventing cancer and also diabetes. Now, just a little bit of background information. Tempeh is a source of plant-based protein. Now, current research shows that by replacing part of the animal protein you eat with plant-based protein, it can help to reduce your risk of cardiovascular diseases as well as bad cholesterol levels. Now, a recent study has also shown that by just increasing 3% of your diet with plant-based protein, you are reducing your risk of other health problems by 5%. So when we ferment these soybeans, it decreases what we call phytate, which is also called an anti-nutrient. Okay, so by reducing the amount of anti-nutrients in the beans, we're looking at being able to absorb the nutrition in the beans a lot better. Now, to make tempeh, you will definitely need some soybeans. Today, I am using some organic soybeans. You will need about 200 grams of soybean and soak it for about 8 hours or overnight. Now, after soaking, this is how it will look like. After soaking the beans, you will need to strain it. And I am going to cook it in a Thermomix with 400 ml of water at this function. We're going to cook it for 30 minutes at reverse stir at 100 degrees Celsius. So remember, it is 30 minutes, reverse stir at 100 degrees Celsius. Done. Now, let's take a look. Let the Thermomix do the stirring for you. Now, to prevent it from overboiling and for your safety, when you have started cooking, remember to put on a varoma dish on top of it. Now, while we're waiting for the soybeans to boil, I am going to save some time and use my second Thermomix to cook up this chili paste. Now, to cook this chili paste, you will need some dried chilies, some belacan, some gula melaka, some shallots, garlic, and also some tamarind. Now, tamarind contains polyphenols that have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. I have also used our favorite ingredient, garlic. Now, garlic, on the other hand, contains organosulfur compounds that have been found to inhibit inflammatory responses. And this can also help to protect our body's cardiovascular system. Next, I have shallots. Shallot also contains anthocyanins that is known to have anti-inflammatory properties as well. It can also have neuroprotective activities. Now, it has also been suggested that shallots can help us improve our cognitive function and memory as well. And to cook this chili, I am going to put all the ingredients into my Thermomix. I'm going to first add the chili in and the rest of the ingredients. Now, onions are a rich source of fiber and prebiotics. It contains soluble fiber as well as fermentable carbohydrates that can help you produce short-chain fatty acids, and that is beneficial for your gut. and my soybeans are ready. Now I'm just going to finish up this recipe and go and make our tempeh. Alright, so I'm just going to blend this for about 20 seconds and we're going to cook it for about 15 minutes and the chili paste is done. Now to blend this chili, you want to put the lid on first. Okay, and blend it at 7.5. And it's ready. It's well blended and I still have beautiful smelling fingers. I'm going to scrape it down. Also scrape down the sides. Okay. And add some oil before cooking. I'm going to put the lid back on, okay, and cook it at 100 degrees for about 15 minutes. And stir it at speed 2. Done. Now while I'm waiting for my chili to cook, I am going to start preparing my tempeh. Now 30 minutes is over and the soybeans are cooked. So I'm going to show you how it looks like on the inside. As you can see, the hull has all fallen off from the soybeans, making it extremely convenient. I didn't have to use my hands to dehull the soybeans, okay? So I'm just going to take a spoon and show you how to remove the hull. You simply just scoop it up and discard it. The hull would usually float on top, so if you don't stir it, it is quite easy to remove. Okay. So before you take the beans out, before you strain them, you want to add some apple cider vinegar into the beans, okay? Now you want to leave this in for 5 minutes. There, just leave it in the bowl. Give it a stir. Now, why do you use apple cider vinegar? It is to create a slightly acidic environment, and by lowering the pH, it will encourage the growth of the tempeh starter. Now, after you have left the apple cider vinegar in there for 5 minutes, you want to strain the beans off, okay? I'm using the varoma dish to help me strain off the liquid as well as the apple cider vinegar. So gently pour it over and strain the beans. All right. And so the beans are still quite hot. What you want to do is to use a tray, like this one over here, line some paper, and lay the beans out so you can help to pat dry the beans as well before making it into a tempeh. Now to cool the beans as well as to pat dry, I am going to use some kitchen towels. So I'm going to put some kitchen towels onto this tray, and then I'm going to empty the beans onto this kitchen towel. Alright, the chili is done! Okay. And to help to dry it faster, I'm just going to use a kitchen towel and give it a nice dab. Okay, so it's done. I'm just going to use this bowl and I'm going to mix this ragi tempeh or tempeh starter together with the beans. Now, for about 200 grams of dry beans pre-soaked, you want to add half a teaspoon of this tempeh starter. I'm going to move this bowl aside to give me some space to work on the tempeh. Alright, now that the beans have cooled down, you want to add the tempeh starter. You don't want to add your tempeh starter while it's still piping hot, okay? And you'll be surprised, we're using very little tempeh starter to this amount of beans. We're using about half a teaspoon to about 200 grams of soybeans. You sprinkle some of this tempeh starter and mix it up. Now you can get this tempeh starter from Geylang Serai. Some of the dried spice shops will have this readily available. Okay. So to put this tempeh together, all you need is a bag. Now I'm using a ziplock bag, but if you have any other kind of bag, you can also use that. And what's more importantly is after filling the bag, you want to seal it, but before that, put some holes in them to let your tempeh breathe. Okay, so all the beans are in the bag. You want to remove as much air as possible from the bag. Okay, and seal it. Okay, to give it a bit of shape and form, you might want to give it a small light press so that it forms the shape that you want. Okay, to evenly distribute the beans as well. So give it a light press. Okay. And then you're done. Okay. Next, you want to use a fork, but if you have a skewer, you can use a skewer as well to put some holes into the bag. Okay, so this is not done yet. Now, in order for the tempeh to ferment, you need to put also any form of weight. And you can use a thermal server or any form of weight and put it on top of the bag. Now, after 36 hours, you are going to have a delicious and healthy tempeh done. I have pre-prepared a portion of tempeh, and just take a look how beautiful it is. And you will be able to see that the white mold, and this white mold is harmless, has formed all over the tempeh. Okay, now tempeh is known to be easily digestible as the phytic acid in soybean is broken down during this fermentation process. Now, phytic acid is a substance that impairs the absorption of minerals such as calcium, iron, and zinc, okay? And because of this beautiful mold that has been formed, you also know that it is rich in probiotic, and the beans itself is prebiotic. I'm going to open this up and show you how I'm going to cut it up and then fry it in an air fryer. If you don't have one, just pop it in an oven, and I'm going to cook that together with the chili that we have just made. Alright, I'm going to cut open the bag. If you're able to remove it easily without breaking the tempeh, you can just try to remove it from the bag, but I'm going to just use a pair of scissors and remove it. As you can see, it is beautifully firm after 36 hours in room temperature. Now I'm going to show you how it looks like on the inside. Okay, I'm just going to cut it in half and show that to you. Look at the beautiful nutty texture. It's compact and it's high in protein. Okay, so for this recipe, I'm only going to use half a portion of this tempeh, and I'm going to freeze the other half. Now, tempeh do freeze well, and so if you like to, you can freeze it and use it for later. So what you can do is to put a cling wrap over it and freeze it for later use. And as for this piece, I am going to air fry it till it's crispy. And all you need is just a tiny bit of oil and brush on the outside. So, this is how you want to cut it up. So I'm going to brush this tempeh with just a tiny bit of oil and pop it in an air fryer or an oven at 180 degrees for only about 10 minutes to help it crisp up. Now it smells wonderful and it's crispy. So I put it in the air fryer for about 10 minutes, but if you like to crisp it up a bit more, you can feel free to put it in a little bit longer. Now my chili is also done. I'm very excited to show it to you. So it's nice, hot and steamy. I'm just going to spoon some out because I don't need to use all of that chili to stir fry this tempeh. So I'm just going to spoon part of it out. And you can reserve this beautiful chili for another dish later on, okay? So I'm just gonna scrape down the sides. You want to use this butterfly, okay, to do the stir fry. Just simply pop that in, and I'm gonna stir fry this tempeh in the Thermomix. We're going to put the lid back on, okay? Now because it's still warm, I am only going to stir fry it for 2 minutes. I'm going to let it cook for me. I'm just going to remove the lid and take a look at it inside. As you can see, it's stir frying the tempeh, and at the same time, this Thermomix is making it smell wonderful. Done! Let's take a look. It looks and smells delicious. Okay, we're nearly done. So as you can see, you can make tempeh at home easily using your Thermomix, because a lot of people thought that you can only buy it from the supermarket. So it's so easy to make, and I have reserved another piece to cook another dish. Thank you everyone for joining me live at Thermomix this evening. I hope you have found a fun and exciting way to use your Thermomix to make your own tempeh. Once again, I'm Bibi Chia. I hope you like this recipe and see you next time.